You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. It's 70 Miles Word of the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you, another Let's Play episode of Minotaur Hotel. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. Hang out with Luke and Kota. Mission, daily agenda. Pending projects. Alright, let's hang out with them. Hang out with Luke and Kota. Okay. Firm plan. Kota, we'll do Kota. Yeah. Okay. Current plan, I'll hang out with Kota. Alright. R&D team. Let's manage teams. Okay. Perfect. Surveying is pretty good. Okay. Alright. Confirm plan. Done planning? Yes. Alright, let's do it. When you poke your head into the lounge looking for the blue dragon, you find him sitting at a table with one of the guests. A thin, middle-aged man in a shabby suit and hat, with stress wrinkles on his face and flecks of gray showing in his beard. Over the music that fills the lounge's air, you're able to catch a few snippets of their conversation. I don't sound familiar, sorry to say. I see. I suppose it doesn't matter. If you don't mind me taking a longer one, have you ever encountered a, this may sound silly, but have you ever met a man in possession of such a sword, either of Japanese descent or perhaps one who looks similar to me? The guest lets out a good-natured laugh at the question. Nope, can't say I've ever met a sword-wielding dragon from Japan. I didn't even know people like you were real until I came here. Indeed. Well, I'll have to ask regardless. If you want, I could keep an ear out to see if any of those names come up once I get out of here. That would be greatly appreciated, thank you. The man pulls a business card out of his worn wallet and slides it over to the dragon. Kota accepts the offering with a bow, belly pressing into the table as he leans forward and holds it tight in his clawed grasp. I'll leave you be for now, then. If you need anything, I'm sure our gracious host would be happy to provide. Sure, and thank you too. Kota rises to his feet, gives his conversational partner one last bow, and then turns away. When he catches your eye, the dragon gives you a small smile and makes his way over. Alexios, hello. I trust the day is treating you well. It is, thank you. Just taking a break, if you have a moment to hang out. For you, any time. With a small gesture, he leads you over to an unoccupied table. You take your seats across from one another, settling in. So, interested in hearing some more about this old vagrant's wanderings, are you? Actually, if you don't mind, I was curious about what you were talking about over there. I don't mean to pry or eavesdrop, but I couldn't help it over here. A sword-wielding dragon, huh? Ha! Well, the sword I was speaking about is more of an ornamental one. It was forged in the village near our home. You and your brother, right? Onsen, I think you said his name was? That is correct. He was a bright and warm soul who often joined the local samurai in their battles, and quite often in their leisure as well. My shrine's sake was very popular amongst the men, if you don't mind a little bragging, and he'd often serve it while they rested their bodies in the nearby hot springs. Second, yeah? Oh, that's good seltzer, baby. My shrine's sake was very popular amongst the men. If you don't... Okay, I already did that. I see. If he was a samurai, I guess it only makes sense for him to have a sword, even an ornamental one. So, it is him you're trying to find, then? Indeed. And by tracking down that sword of his, you hope to track him down, too? Well... He taps the tabletop with his claw a few times. It is, unfortunately, one of the only leads I have to go on. See. If that's only one of your leads, are there any others? There has to be something. He sighs, deep and gusty. Alexios, exactly how long do you think I've been on my journey? Well, almost a century and a half now. And in all that time I've looked and looked and looked, from one end of the earth to the other. Do you know what I found? Nothing. Nothing but disappointment and cold trails. On a journey ailing, my dreams roam about, on a withered field. Kota, I'm sorry. Listen, you've been a great help to the hotel and to Asterion and me. I know I can't even begin to imagine what you've been through, and I don't want to butt into your private business, but I do want to help you too. Not just to pay you back, but because you're a friend. If there's anything we can do that would get you closer to finding Onsen, all you need to do is ask. At least he meets your gaze once more. I apologize for allowing my emotions to get out of hand. Thank you, Alexios. I'm already grateful for everything you've done. The dragon smiles, but you can see how it doesn't quite reach his eyes. I guess it's business card. Guess business card, okay. How about that man you were talking to? Think having his business card could help? Kota lets out a short breath, perhaps in relief at the shift in conversational topic. As he speaks, he turns the card over and over between his fingers. Yes, he's an antique dealer, you see. It's not my place to speak about his past, but he came here after some trouble with a few of his usual sources. An antique dealer? You think he might know where Onsen's sword is? Perhaps. In truth, I was asking about, well, names. I overheard him mentioning something about keeping an ear out for some names. What's that about? Well, spilled water will not return to the tray. I'm sorry. That's probably not any of my... He holds up a hand to cut you off. You asked, Alexios. Okay. Piss him off, so leave it be. Okay. The clock ticks once, twice, thrice. You clear your throat. It's not any of my business if you don't want to tell me. He lets out another gusty breath, and his lips curl into a small smile once more. It likely won't lead to anything. Still, you know what they say. Fall 7 times, get up 8. What about Onsen? Well, could you tell me a little more about Onsen? Who knows, maybe I ran into him and didn't even know it. If he had a charm, then it's possible, right? Kota's brow furrows. One of his fangs catches on his lip. He gives the tabletop another brief tap. I don't think he... Although it may be possible... You never know, right? Come on, indulge me. Alright, well, was quite the lively person. In truth, Luke does remind me vaguely of him. Very vaguely. Onsen at least had an ounce of discretion. Though he did love his sake, both partaking and sharing it with his fellow samurai. There was one time when he had far too much, although that's probably a story for another time. Anyway, though his arm was strong, his heart was kind. He took up his sword not for the love of battle, but for the love of his people. Especially the children. Oh, you should have seen him, Alexios. Whenever we would visit one of the villages, every child would have a turn riding upon his shoulders. His laughter was like a waterfall, free-flowing. He'd display his might with pride, along with every scar he earned upon the battlefield. And even when we'd take on human disguises, he had the most striking blue eyes. A body owned into a fine form. That's, quite a description. That's quite a description, Kota. The dragon blinks with sudden awareness of his surroundings. You can't help but notice a faint, oh, don't say anything. You stay quiet, allowing him to reminisce. In the meantime, you focus on racking your brain for any familiarity sparked by his words. One is here revealed, in the voice of the crickets, yearning still for one, friend who is no more. At last, the dragon clears his throat. So, does any of that sound familiar? I'm sorry, but not at all. It might be easier if I had more concrete physical description, but... Well, there we come to the problem. It's been so long since I've seen him that I... Tension gathers in Kota's shoulders as the rhythm of his claws tapping grows faster. Oh, excuse me. Thinking quick, you latch onto another, hopefully more pleasant topic. So, your shrine used to brew sake, huh? All the tension rushes out of him. He glances towards you, and you can see a small bloom of gratitude in both his eyes and his smile. That's right. The best sake in the region. Far better than even the local shochu. We made sure of that. Water time. Alright. Wouldn't think you'd find a brewery in a holy place. How'd you guys do it? Well, you see... For the next 20 or so minutes, Kota tells you all about the sake production at his shrine. how the river feeds into the fertile paddies, and how it waters cool, distills so perfectly. When the time comes to go to your separate ways, he gives you a half-distracted bow before rushing off, keeping his gaze averted. Let's check in on the R&D team. The R&D team made some progress, but no project was completed. Let's check in on the exploration team. Your team found 3 raw materials. Oh, looks like you found something else. You found a poem written in very old parchment, a small memento of Asterian's past. You can read it in opening the Files menu. Let's see, Files. Memento. There we go. How about the border? Where? Okay, I think that might be it. Okay. An epigram written to a Roman pagan or Gnostic, pontificating on their conquest of the Greeks. As usual with all foreign language written in the labyrinth, the letters shift as you focus your eyes on them, making the piece of parchment legible. However, you could swear that some of the glyphs that all now refer to the same words looked different to you a moment ago. But love's not love, it's more like love, he told me, using words from my own tongue. From us imported. What compartmentalizing these Romans do? They speak as if the dusk was not yet still the sun. They took our gods, remade, refashioned, mixed up meanings, names, a pantheon of mush. This first, but then these men with garum doused and drowned our food. And now they lecture me on our own words. Tonight, it is Kota who hosts the Hearthside Circle. He gifts his audience with tales about the Minotaur's hospitality and the hotel's traditions. The guests he entertains are a peculiar bunch, but they remain enraptured by his words all the same. A pair of brothers, arms covered in burns and whip marks, who are running from something closer to a butcher shop than a home. A malnourished woman in her late 20s, with dull, sunken eyes and hair cut shorter than any boy's, whose hands shake with the sharp pangs of withdrawal. A silver-haired man in his 40s, pulled in during a desperate escape made necessary by writing about issues many would prefer remain unpublished. And a mother nursing a baby who refused to say a word about her past. All of them, every one of these outcasts, listen to the dragon's good news about the hotel's mission as they feast. Time often flows in circles. Just a century ago, the same scene played out. A preacher singing praises about the hotel to guests dreaming of a permanent home. Much like tonight, their throats had twisted into knots and their chests had constricted. The grace they felt was so great it became unforgivable. Back then, they were given a future. But it was taken again by Clement and his madness, and all who pledged to accomplish the hotel's mission were lost. That won't happen again, however. Tonight, when they look at you in Asterian, masters of this land, there is dew in their eyes and a vow of silence upon their lips. Not a single word is needed. These sailors see the captains of this ship. In the lounge, the guests slouch in their seats. The sounds of cutlery and laughter fill the room. There are no conspicuous glances toward your partner, although some guests have taken to greeting you in Asterian with a warmth so contagious it kindles the hearth's flame. This is the hotel's new normal. Tonight, Asterian makes firm brushstrokes on his tablet. His eyes pore over the screen, shifting away only when he cannot contain a giggle. You let him enjoy the moment, whatever it is he is doing. Meanwhile, you entertain yourself with watching the crowd. The kobolds are huddled together in a corner of the lounge, watching as Luke takes meals to the guests. When one of them catches you looking their way, he jumps back and frightens the others. They scurry out of the lounge, but only for a brief while. Not 10 minutes later, however, the timid vagabonds return. And this time, they're there to stay. You look away and leave them be, but as the night progresses, you catch them approaching the counter. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for what you do for this channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Alpha Wolf. Or Blue Wolf Alpha. We love you. You're awesome. Thank you for some of your ultimate tier anyway. If y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!